You and your spouse falling in love and getting married young, and by young I mean 22. I think that's kind of young. And y'all start having children right away, so y'all come up with a plan, an agreement, a compromise, if you will. And the plan is for husband to stay at his current job while wife goes back to school to get her second degree.
If you're looking for a sign not to do 50-50 with your man, you're looking for a sign not to spend your money or get a loan just to support your man, your husband, or your man, your partner, anybody, this video is a sign. It's a sign. Okay, a divorce attorney, she shared one of our clients' story. Let me read the clip for you all to watch to the end. I'll be back to share my thoughts at the end of the video.
I know I usually tell y'all to grab a cocktail, but today grab some headache medicine. Today is just one of those days where I'm actually appalled, which doesn't happen often as a family law attorney. I usually see all kind of crazy stuff on the regular. But imagine you and your spouse falling in love and getting married young, and by young I mean 22. I think that's kind of young. And y'all start having children right away, so y'all come up with a plan, an agreement, a compromise, if you will. And the plan is for husband to stay at his current job while wife goes back to school to get her second degree. When wife graduates, then husband will go back to school, and during that time, wife will be supporting the family. Wife has the dream career she's always wanted, and now husband is applying to schools. And husband wants to go to school to be a physician assistant. And if you know anything about being a PA, I really think it's a cool job. I had a client years ago who was a PA. It was a custody case, and he made about $300,000 a year and worked 3 days a week. But back to this story. So husband applies, he gets into PA school, everybody's so excited. They also decided that they were not going to take out any student loans for husband's program. Wife did take out student loans when she was in school, and they just didn't want to get into any more debt, so they decided to pay his tuition out of pocket. Just for context, wife has a great career. They can afford it with a couple sacrifices, so that's the plan. Husband has been withdrawing his tuition from their joint account every semester, like they planned. And such is life, a hiccup happens, and wife is no longer at her current job. She tells her husband, no, baby, please don't drop out of school. I will figure this out. You supported me when I did it. Don't worry. I will figure it out. So wife takes out a personal loan to pay for husband's tuition. Husband is so grateful, and he tells her, I promise when I graduate, I'm going to pay the loan off. Keep in mind this loan is for $100,000. It will cover his tuition for the whole time during school, books, fees, anything that comes up. As the months go by, the marriage starts to change. Husband's being really distant, staying out later. He's saying he's with his study groups. So wife starts doing some digging, trying to figure out if his class schedule is matching up with all the times that he's out. So she keeps hitting a dead end. She's not really getting anywhere. So then she fills out whatever form the school has to request a transcript. Several weeks go by. She doesn't hear anything back about this transcript, so she calls the school to follow up. And the person on the phone, they're trying to be helpful. They're trying to get this lady some answers about why she hasn't gotten a response. So they're just tapping away on their keyboard. And they're like, ma'am, I see why you haven't gotten a response. There's no one enrolled here by that name. And wife's like, come again? Because I mustn't hear you clearly. She repeats his name, his date of birth, his social, and the person's confirming on the other end of the phone, ma'am, he don't go here. Wife decides to hire one of the best divorce attorneys in Dallas, Texas. And just shout out to my amazing team who discovered that all of those days that he was leaving for class, he was on the other side of town with his other family. And every semester when he's making these large withdrawals to pay his tuition, well, guess what? He's really supporting his other family. So this brings me to one of my favorite divorce actions. Fraud on the community estate. I mean, I must say, there are some times being in the community property estate that it comes to bite you in the butt, but then there's other times where it's just so sweet. Ta-ta for now, because I have to go subpoena a mistress and serve some discovery to her. Of course I have to find out how much of these community property funds she's been receiving and enjoying. On second thought, I'm gonna wait to serve that tomorrow, on a Friday. Ruin their little weekend. I'm so mean.
There is a lot to learn from that. You cannot trust 100, even though I feel like you cannot trust 100. What you're doing or what is in your mind, that's the only thing you can see. You cannot see what is in your partner's mind. You don't know what you're thinking. You don't know what they're planning towards you. So you cannot fully trust this man, even though you're married to them or even though they were nice to you at the beginning. Right? And when it comes to spending 50-50, sharing bills and all of that, you can't fully trust them because you don't know where the other half of the money is going. I just have a reaction to share with you from Regina Cecilia. Let's go ahead and watch our videos together, and I'll be back to share my thoughts at the end of the video.
And the plan is for husband to stay at his current job while wife goes back to school to get her second degree. When wife graduates, then husband will go back to school, and during that time, wife will be supporting the family. They also decided that they were not going to take out any student loans for husband's program. Wife did take out student loans when she was in school, and they just didn't want to get into any more debt, so they decided to pay his tuition out of pocket. Wife decides to hire one of the best divorce attorneys in Dallas, Texas. And just shout out to my amazing team who discovered that all of those days that he was leaving for class, he was on the other side of town with his other family. And every semester when he's making these large withdrawals to pay his tuition, well, guess what? He's really supporting his other family.
On God, whoever tagged me in this, count your days. I was having a kind of good morning. As some of you all may know, I'm still on grief hiatus here. I woke up, I was reading The Mastery of Love, I was meditating on the principle that love is not fear, love involves trust. If we release fear, maybe we can rise to a new level in love. And I get on TikTok and it's the very first thing I see. Men are the devil, honestly. Yeah. They are just like the scum of the earth. I don't know why they're here. I have the full video tagged below, but if you're not familiar, this is Lauren the lawyer. She's a divorce attorney who tells us about her interesting cases with permission. So the husband and wife make this deal. After she has the children, she will go back to school, and then he will go back to school afterwards while she supports him. First, she was paying the tuition out of pocket, but then she lost her job, and she took out a personal loan for $100,000, tried to send the loan to the school. School says, "Who is this?" Which led to her discovering the second family. So many lessons here. First one, what you think is a curse can turn out to be a blessing. I'm sure she thought when she lost her job, it was, so horrible. But if it hadn't happened, she probably never would have known, and that man could have drained her finances forever. Second lesson, every day men stoop to a new low. I thought that she had all the bases covered because I always say when you do one of those, you support me, I'll support you deals, make sure you as the woman go first, because men are infamous for becoming the doctor, the lawyer, the what the fuck ever, and leaving you high and dry. And you have no education and no money because you gave it all to him for his tuition. But this man discovered an entirely new way to screw her. But that never would have happened if you follow the principle I tell you all the time. If he's not spending money on you, he's spending money on another woman. This is always true. It's not true 90% of the time. It's not true 99.9%. It's true 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, what about if he was in school? Guys, it was already unequal from the first beginning, because when she went back to school herself, she got a student loan. What the fuck was he doing? But when he went back to school, she supported him financially. She was paying his tuition out of pocket. You simple child of God. If Johnny has 5 apples, what the fuck are you doing? Because here's the real secret. I tell you all the time. Men use women to define their identity. This man never had any intention of going back to school. Now, the woman wasn't an idiot. She didn't blindly believe. He applied and he got in. Hopefully she saw some proof of that. But for a lot of men, women are the shortcut. You hear men talking about the big career they want to have one day in sports or entertainment or whatever. What do they tell you they want? They want the cars, they want the money, they want the fame, and women. So if a lot of men have more than one woman, they feel like they made it. That's all they need to feel like the big baller shot caller. He wants to feel like the man. The first thing he does is start triangulating women. He starts playing them off one another with or without their knowledge. So he used his wife's resources so he could appear like a big baller to this other woman and grab a woman he probably could have never had access to on his own and settle down with her. I'm sure if we were able to see pictures of the wife and the mistress, they're two completely different aesthetics. He got himself a workhorse who probably settled for him because this woman had enough moxie to be going for a second degree in an obviously very lucrative field because she could afford to pay his PA tuition out of pocket. Yeah. Homegirl was making money. And I'm sure she was probably doing all the caretaking for the kids while he was quote unquote in school. Once he had the bottom bitch secured, he runs out and gets an IG baddie with her money. And then he locks her up too because he knows he can't maintain 2 women for a while without clipping their wings. And I'm sorry to say, even though his wife is cutting him loose, his mistress, who might have had no knowledge of this, might be forced to stay with him just because she's in so deep now. Sounds like they have children together. He's her only means of support. Hopefully, Lauren will give us an update about the situation later because I really want to know more. She says she's sending a subpoena to the mistress. She's going to be, both of them are going to be sued for this fraud on the marital communal funds. But I just wonder what's going to happen to the wife, because regardless of what happens with this case, you did take out this huge personal loan in your own name. I imagine even if you return it right away because you don't need it, there's still some sort of penalty. It's so much, Lord. And this is a mark on your psyche. This is a mark on your life. Now you have to go through this draining divorce. You have to explain this to your children for the rest of their lives. They're going to have to deal with the fact that they have half siblings out there, that their father is a piece of crap. And you're going to have to go on dealing with him because I'm sure he's going to get some sort of custody or visitation. This is why I'm so glad I'm child-free. I'm telling you, earlier, the mastery of love had me in such a good emotional place. I was like, well, maybe some of this, relationship protection techniques are about fear. What if we could let go? What if we could trust more? This is why we can't trust, because of men. You have to be looking out for yourself. You have to constantly be thinking one step ahead. And I do think being child-free is the ultimate hack, because if a man does you dirty, you can cut him off and you never have to think about him ever again. Okay. He's not dead, but he might as well be, because, you have no connection to him. It's like he never existed.
Yeah.
But if that's not possible in your life, do not spend one penny on a man. I don't care if you think you're being equitable, if you're all in this together because you're married now. No. Self-protection is paramount. And you're thinking to yourself, well, I have to do all that. I shouldn't get married. Don't get married then. But if you're going to be in romantic relationships, you have to protect yourself. Like and follow for more.
I totally agree with you, Regina, because I feel like, of course you cannot fully trust this man. You have to be wise. And I kind of like the woman, that she was very smart. Immediately she noticed that, okay, what's going on? And she found out that he has a family. Hey! Men. You cannot fully trust them. You have to be very smart. If you feel like, oh, because he was like this to me, or he did. See, I just feel like when it comes to sharing bills and 50-50, they always have a place that they spend the other half of the 50 on, and it's not you, right? Most of the time it's not you. So if your man is not spending on you, who are they spending it on? You're allowing him to have another family, or to have money to spend on another woman. Just like sprinkle Shara 7 will say, if you're doing 50-50 with your man, you are allowing him to have the other 50 so that he can have access to be able to show off with another woman, like, oh, I have money, I can pay your bills. He will pay the other woman bills because you don't need the money. You're already sharing your half of money with him. Why? His other half is going to another woman most of the time. I'm not saying all of the time, right? I'm not saying all of the, but most of the time, this is what these men do. When they see that, oh, you got yourself, they will spend that money on someone else. And this is just so sad. This is one of the reasons why, if you're married or you want to get married, shine your eyes. Do not fully trust, expect the unexpected. And just like Regina said, go child-free. Most of the time, it's better for you to be child-free, so that when things like this happen, you just carry your bag and leave. There is no much procedure, a lot of things to say, oh, with child support, custody, You don't have time for that. If you don't have a child with this parent, you forget them immediately. But once you start having children, 1, 2, 3, you just got married, immediately you are burning 5 children for this man just because they were your Prince Charming, or they are your Prince Charming at that point. What will happen later when you find out that they are not your Prince Charming? Because now you will see that the mistress that he went to meet in short, she will never be close to the wife, because these men, they always go lower than what they have in the house. And this is just so sad. I'm very glad that she actually hired this lawyer, because she's very good. Okay, can go check her out. Anyways, this is just a gist as I share with you today. What is your take on today's video? Let me know your thought down in the comment section respectfully. And thank you all so much for tuning in today's video. It's your favorite girl again, Maria Davis. And don't forget to like and share and subscribe. And please turn on the post notification bell to get notified once I upload another interesting video. And I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.